You all three bring up a desire to recover or reclaim stories about to your work, and so continuing on that note, maybe we can explore a little bit the different angles that go along with creating the kind of works that you create, and more specifically, my question would be how you position it. Do you see it as a commentary on the experience of mental illness? Do you see it more as a commentary sometimes on the public perception or mediation of mental illness? Or I imagine also as a tool to educate about mental illness, or to basically information about mental illness. So what's your own angle? Is that important? Maybe you want to jump in that first.
Sure. It's a good question. It is a good question. You know, is it my own form of communication? Is it a commentary on how other people see my work, or is it in and of itself a tool for education? And I guess it's probably several of those things all at once. And I mean, what you don't see with visual art, what you don't see is the process that starts back when I'm working in my sketchbook in bed or in front of the television and developing images and kind of trying to mine my own mythology and my feelings and where I'm at and the feedback I've had from people about my work. What you see is the final piece, and yet there is so much more that's kind of performative that goes into it. And so like I said earlier, it's not cathartic so much as it is a way to try and explore things that are fairly ineffable, and it can become an educational talking point. For me, it's not so much commentary on how people see me. I kind of try to leave that for the critics, but as an educational, education happens, of course, in all kinds of ways. And I've worked as an educator in popular education, in various kinds of social justice education, and of course, learning happens in all kinds of levels. You know, certainly what's happening right now is learning, and learning can also happen. We did the Mad Couture Catwalk, which was work on art production last spring, was tremendously successful, and Catherine and I were both involved. And there was a crew from Space Television at Workman Arts on Monday interviewing us. I know, Space Television? Depression and mental illness. Okay. Well, it turned out the name of the show was Inner Space, so I guess it made sense in the end. But to be able to say this is an image that I created of me trying to kill myself and almost succeeding is a surprising thing. And as you know, the people here who know me know, I will say is that I think there's a lot missing in the public conversation around suicide and self-harm, for that matter. And so, you know, being able just to kind of put it right out there and not make any bones about it, or not dance around it, is just to be able to say, this is Adora, this is what it's about. And I never know, though, people aren't usually asking me questions about it, and maybe if I'm comfortable with it, other people are going to be uncomfortable. I don't know, but I do like the idea of having something to have as a starting point for a conversation, for many different conversations.
This is a really interesting question for me, because my initial impulse is to say that I'm just creating art that's very personal, that's about my own individual story, but there's always an audience involved in experiencing it when you show it. And I can think of two examples. Like, I did a small series called See No Evil for Contact Photography Festival last May. It showed at the Gladstone, and it was just a simple series of portraits of very well-loved stuffed toys that as you experience them from like a distance, and I sat in the room while people came in and invisibly, I sat in front of them and they didn't know I was the artist and just watched how they engaged with it. And from a distance, they said, oh, it's so sweet, how cuddly, that reminds me of my childhood, this and that. And then when they got really close to them, they could see that I had scratched out the eyes of the stuffed toys. So when they got close, there was a sudden uncomfortable moment and disease. What's really going on here?
Where that line is blurred a little bit in your very personal experience.
Yeah. And I was part of the Mad Couture catwalk as well, and I designed a dress of childhood sequins